Violent disorder broke out in Amsterdam after Ajax's Europa League game against Maccabi Tel Aviv on Thursday night. Visiting fans of the Israeli club were attacked, according to local police, as they made their way back through the Dutch capital after the match, with some requiring hospital treatment. Earlier, Maccabi fans had also sparked tensions with their behavior in the city center. They were scenes that shocked the world and posed difficult questions of football's authorities. Here, The Athletic breaks down what exactly happened in Amsterdam, the background to it and how the sport could react with other potentially tense fixtures looming in the coming weeks. An evening that played host to a seemingly routine European fixture between Ajax and Maccabi Tel Aviv, ended with what local police called an unjustified outburst of violence toward Israeli supporters in the Dutch capital. Maccabi Tel Aviv, the reigning champions of the Israeli Premier League, are one of 36 teams competing in the group phase of the Europa League this season, and had traveled to Amsterdam attempting to end a run of 3 consecutive defeats in the competition. A 5-0 defeat by Ajax continued a damaging run, but it was events away from the stadium, particularly after the game, that led to Dick Schoof, Prime Minister of the Netherlands, condemning the anti-Semitic violence. At a news conference held in Amsterdam on Friday morning, police confirmed 62 arrests had been made across the city, after visiting supporters were attacked, abused, and pelted with fireworks. 5 people were taken to hospital injured. They were discharged on Friday, with as many as 30 more suffering minor injuries. The heightened potential for trouble had been noted ahead of Maccabi's visit given the war in Israel and Gaza, which began over a year ago. Maccabi's visit also coincided with the week of the anniversary of Kristallnacht, when the Nazis conducted a pogrom against the Jewish population in Germany in 1938. An additional police presence of 800 officers had been placed on duty by the city's authorities, who had also banned pro-Palestinian protests from taking place at Ajax's Johan Cruyff Arena. Fenerbahce's visit to nearby AZ Alkmaar for another Europa League tie had also resulted in a high number of Turkish fans in Amsterdam. Tensions had already climbed on Wednesday evening as a Palestinian flag was pulled down from the front of one building in Amsterdam city center. Police Chief Peter Holle also told a news conference on Friday that Maccabi fans had attacked a taxi and set fire to a Palestinian flag. Police had escorted an estimated 1,000 Maccabi fans on their journey from Dam Square to the Johan Cruyff Arena, where a pro-Palestinian march had been organized nearby at Anton de Complein. Flashpoints were contained by police, but it was after the game, once Maccabi fans had returned to Amsterdam city center that, according to Mayor Femke Halsema, rioters carried out several hit-and-run attacks on Israelis in various locations. Visiting supporters were eventually offered protection from police and taken to hotels by bus. Order was restored, according to Holle, by around 3 a.m. local time. "I am deeply ashamed of the behavior that unfolded," Halsema told reporters. On Telegram messaging groups, people talked of going to hunt down Jews. "It's so terrible I can't find the words for it." In comments reported by Reuters, Israel President Isaac Herzog said the King of the Netherlands, Willem-Alexander, had expressed his deep horror and shock at the events in Amsterdam. The scale of violence led to Israel airline El Al chartering 2 rescue flights on Friday morning, with instructions from Maccabi for its supporters to stay in hotels and avoid wearing Jewish symbols until returning home. Many visiting fans were taken from their hotels to Amsterdam's Schiphol airport by buses which were afforded extra police protection on their journey. In the wake of the violence, Halsema also imposed emergency measures on the city, banning demonstrations and face coverings and handing police special powers to search suspects. Was the violence football-related? Yes and no. Maccabi's visit to Amsterdam was undeniably the catalyst to the violence, but wider tensions had already been sparked by the geopolitical backdrop of the conflict in Gaza and other parts of the Middle East. Amsterdam, home to thousands of immigrants from Islamic countries, has seen regular pro-Palestinian marches and demonstrations in the last 15 months, and hosting an Israeli club in a high-profile fixture had been considered a high-risk event by local authorities. The presence of 1,000 or so traveling fans had done little to quell a tense atmosphere, and videos were widely shared on social media, appearing to show Maccabi supporters chanting anti-Arab slogans. On Thursday, in footage verified by Reuters, Maccabi supporters were filmed in front of the National Monument on Dam Square chanting F*U Palestine. Maccabi also have a problematic history with a section of their support, with their ultras group having been previously accused of using racist language. That Friday's events brought condemnation from prime ministers of both Israel and the Netherlands, though, underlined that the previous night's violence in Amsterdam had transcended football. The attacks were widely accepted to be anti-Semitic at their heart and distressing in a city that has long been home to a strong Jewish community. "The history of our city has been deeply damaged," said Halsema, who likened the events to Kristallnacht. What have the club and UEFA said? Maccabi responded early on Friday morning by coordinating with Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Culture and Sport to safeguard the return of the club's supporters to Israel. A hotline was established for families of fans in Amsterdam, with supporters told to follow instructions relayed by Israel's national security headquarters. Maccabi's staff and players only returned to Tel Aviv on Friday afternoon, and Ben Mansford, the club's chief executive who has previously worked with English clubs Barnsley and Blackpool, spoke with reporters at the airport. "We are shocked," he told the club's official website. "We came to play football, and the reason you're all here today is not because of a football match. Thank God all our fans are back." Maccabi said on their website that the club's owner, Mitch Goldhar, opted not to return immediately to Tel Aviv. The Canadian businessman, whose mother is a Holocaust survivor from Poland, stayed behind in Amsterdam to visit those who had been hospitalized and check the safety of others. Despite initial fears in the immediate aftermath of people being reported missing, all Maccabi supporters were accounted for by Friday lunchtime. Ajax strongly condemned the attacks on Friday, and those sentiments were echoed by European football's governing body UEFA, whose competition had brought Maccabi to Amsterdam. "We trust that the relevant authorities will identify and charge as many of those responsible for such actions as possible," it said in a statement. UEFA will examine all official reports, gather available evidence, assess them and evaluate any further appropriate course of action in accordance with its relevant regulatory framework. If you found this update informative, please subscribe to our channel for more news and updates. Click the subscribe button and stay tuned.